अब तस्वीरी नमस्कार दर्शक मित्रों, आज की ये सुहानी शाम को आपका स्वागत है। हमारे साथ एक वरिष्ठ पत्रकार और नॉर्थ ईस्टर्न फ्रंट पे अपनी पैनी नजरें रखने वाले और एक विवेचक, अभ्यासु ऐसे दोरजेटी बाबू हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं।
नमस्कार।
वैसे जब हमने इनको विनती की ऐसे सब्जेक्ट ऑफ स्पेशलाइजेशन जो शायद ही दूसरों के कॉम्प्रिहेंशन के दायरे में आता है, उन्होंने हमेशा हमारा साथ दिया और हमारे दर्शक मित्रों के लिए अपनी उपस्थिति हमें मुहाल कराई। तो स्वागत है भट्टाचार्य साहब आपका। आपने हमारा न्योता कबूल किया और आज फिर एक बार आप हमसे जुड़े।
धन्यवाद मुझे बुलाने के लिए।
सर 3-4 दिन से हम चाह रहे थे आपको बुलाना, मगर योग नहीं हो रहा था, ये क्या दूसरे वजह से। आज योग हुआ है तो मुझे लगता है फायदा है, क्योंकि जब 3-4 दिन जो है ना उसमें इप्स एंड बट्स में काफी समय गया। मैं डिस्कशंस देखता रहा, कोई ठोस बात शुरू में तो निकल के नहीं आती। आहिस्ता 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 जैसे ये कोहरा हटता गया, अब कुछ चीजें दिखने लगी हैं। तो मेरा आपसे सवाल ये है कि बांग्लादेश में जो भी घटना घटी, इसके पीछे कौन है?
देखिए, कोई भी जो आंदोलन होता है आज के तारीख में, वो अपने आप ऑर्गेनिक नहीं होता है। For any movement to become, assume the scale that it has in Bangladesh or elsewhere, it needs a sponsor. और अभी तक जो हम देख रहे हैं, we definitely do see some strong sponsors behind the entire uprising. अब बहुत सारे थ्योरीज आ रहे हैं, बहुत सारे बातें हो रही है, और जैसे आपने कहा कि कोहरा छट रहा है, तो धीरे धीरे कोहरा छट रहा है और चीजें सामने आ रही है। But I think we will still take a little more time to actually spell it out, even though we have a very fair indication as to what has exactly happened. जी,
तो अभी भी आप कह रहे हैं कि कोहरा हट रहा है, पूरा छट नहीं गया है, यानी अभी भी कुछ एरियाज, ग्रे एरियाज है, कुछ असमंजस सी है।
जी बिल्कुल, जी बिल्कुल, जी बिल्कुल।
और बिकॉज ऑफ दैट कोई ये आज एक तर्क निकाल के आए तो वो जरूरी नहीं है कि वो तर्क भी कल जाके सही नहीं।
जी बिल्कुल, जी बिल्कुल।
मगर जिस तरह से पूरा चौपट बिछा है, शेख हसीना तो निकल चुकी, इंडिया में आके ठहरी, अभी जहां तक मेरा ख्याल, चली गई है तो अलग बात है। शेख हसीना की बहन जो है ब्रिटेन में, शी इज द मिनिस्टर इन द प्रेजेंट मिनिस्ट्री।
जी,
आर्मी का जो रोल वहां है नहीं, क्योंकि ऐसा लगता था कि आर्मी और पुलिस तो छोड़ के चले गए थे मैदान। आराम से लोग शेख हसीना के महल या रेसिडेंशियल निवास कहो, उसमें से सोफा वगैरह उठा के जिस तरह से जा रहे थे, जिससे कोई खौफ ही ना हो। ये तो अपनी राष्ट्रीय
बिल्कुल जी,
संपत्ति,
बिल्कुल
अपनी संपत्ति, कोई खौफ नहीं
बिल्कुल
था।
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल बिल्कुल,
तो
उसमें कोई शक नहीं।
तो जो भी थोड़ा बहुत भी रेजिस्टेंस आया, वो ये होमगार्ड जैसे जवानों के वगैरह की वजह से आया, बाकी कुछ हुआ नहीं। इसमें एक रोल छात्र संघर्ष वाहिनी का भी है। ये लोग एक बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग साइड चर्चा में रजू करते हैं। जो लोग समझते हैं कि बांग्लादेश यानी हिंदू मुसलमान का फौरन फ्लेयर अप हो जाएगा, उतनी कच्ची वो चादर की बुनाई नहीं है। आज भी सबसे बड़ी सरस्वती पूजा वो बांग्लादेश में होती। कई चीजें ऐसी है जो हिंदू कल्चर के मुताबिक, जो यानी बंगाली कल्चर के मुताबिक आज भी वहाँ रस्में अदा की जाती है। और ऐसे कोई एक दूसरे को, जैसे हम एक दूसरे को देखते ही घूरते हैं, ऐसे घूरने का रिवाज अभी तक तो वहाँ नहीं आया। तो मुद्दा नंबर 1, सोशल फैब्रिक, इसके बारे में क्या कहना है?
देखिए, कुछ चीजें समझ लेना जरूरी है। जब हम बांग्लादेश की बात करें तो कम से कम ये जो अपराइजिंग हुआ है, दिस इज नॉट अ कम्युनल अपराइजिंग, दिस इज नॉट, no matter what is being said around, the basic nature of it remains political. Having said this, there are strong communal forces like Jamaat-e-Islami, the Chhatro
Sorry
Shibir.
to interrupt you, sir, but Jamaat-e-Islami is a very small number, and they are not a force to reckon with.
Well, they are. On field, they are. Even though they are banned by the Supreme Court. And you also have the Hifazat-e-Islam and the kind of organizations which command a lot of support, and that is acting up. So you have some number of, I would have said some, but a lot of attack on minorities. But this also has a very, very strong economic angle, because the pressure on land and resources is tremendous in Bangladesh if you look at the population density. So there is a resource crisis, and in that case, everybody who wants a part of it would try to push out the weaker ones, and that's exactly what is happening. So that is one. There is a strong element of fundamentalist elements in Bangladesh society, just the way we have it here. And they are acting up, but I do not see, I am not ready to paint the entire uprising as the communal one. So that is where I think I would leave it. But does this mean that the things will stop in some time? I don't think so. I do foresee a lot of turbulence in that area, a lot of violence against the minorities to begin with, and then it might spill over. But there would be a lot, quite a lot of unrest before things settle down.
सर, अगर एक और आप कहते हैं कि देयर इज नो कम्युनल स्टांस, दूसरी ओर आप कहते हैं कि लंबा चलेगा, तो व्हाट इज द इशू? ये किसकी वजह से हुआ है? जो भी हुआ, व्हाट इज द डिटोनेटर, वेयर इट हैज lasted?
When we are talking about this uprising, it's not something very, very linear. It has multiple phases, and we have to look at various aspects to get to some kind of an understanding of it. To begin with, अगर हम हसीना के रिजीम को देखें पिछले 15 साल की, now we assume that the daughter of Bangabandhu, that Sheikh Hasina is, she would be a very secular, democratic politician who would cater to the so-called democratic principles. Now, that is the image, and that has been the our expectations. Nothing wrong with it. But Zamin pe kya hua? She did, I mean, under her leadership, Bangladesh did perform brilliantly in economy. But as we understand, there has also the growth has also been jobless. It has been largely a jobless growth. So this is number one. So there was discontent. Number two, there is no reason to believe that Sheikh Hasina has been one of the most secular leaders, because she had expanded to the fundamentalists in a very big way. It is under her watch that organizations like Hifazat-e-Islam bloomed. It's under her watch that the liberal bloggers were killed, and quite mercilessly killed. We saw her implementing the Medina Charter. So the Frankenstein that came over the surface in last 1 year's time was largely Hasina's making. But was it enough to throw her out of power? I don't think so. I don't think so, because there were also other external factors. Like if you remember, in last December, Russian external affairs had a press conference where they actually said it out that if she returns to power, there might be an Arab Spring-like situation in Bangladesh by 2024. A couple of months back, Hasina herself said that if she allows a foreign power to set up a naval base in Bangladesh, then she should be allowed to reign, which she had refused. Now, these were the developments before this entire set of incidents. So we have very, very strong reasons to believe that there were other geopolitical interests that were acting behind the scenes.
Could you please count them? Or make little more elaborate?
When we are looking at Bangladesh or India or the Bay of Bengal, now Bay of Bengal basically handles almost 30% of the sea route trades, right? The volume is huge. Number one. Number two, it also has a lot of strategic importance for both America and the emerging superpower, that's China. Both are interested to have their toeholds here. And America for a long time has been eyeing the coastal range, and they have been wanting to set up a naval base. Now, if Russia had made that kind of a statement in October, obviously it cannot be Russia, right? And Hasina was also getting a little close to Russia. She was also dealing with China, and these are not something that US would have liked. Now, what we are given to understand is that at some point or the other, Hasina was also told about a situation like this, but just like her father, she chose to ignore this, and the situation went out of her hands. Now, when it went out of her hands, we did see the students asking for democracy, which I would agree was absent in that country for last few years. And a lot of Awami League workers had actually been using their party affiliations to get their way all over. People were being steamrolled, people were being killed, people were being were under the boots of a oppressive regime, and the anger was piling up. But when it
So
erupted,
you would consider oppressive regime and the Sheikh Hasina going after her opponents and little bit of dissent would not be tolerated. That kind of a off-late built-up personality of
this was
Sheikh
a
Hasina
precursor.
is
This was a precursor for the movement. This was because there was a groundswell against her for the way she was running the country. There is absolutely no question on this. There is absolutely no question on the fact that the killing of the students had contributed to the. I mean, not only contributed, but it ignited, fueled the fire much more. So these things have happened, but these things still were internal affairs of Bangladesh. But that had to be given a much more stronger push. And that push has come from the outside. It had to come from the outside because geopolitically, Bangladesh is extremely important for a lot of people.
but
So
then
a
you say
regime,
it has to come from outside. Outside means what? Outside could be anything.
well, the street talk is it's the US that has blessed the uprising, and as I said earlier, we did see some of the corroborative evidences from Russians and Sheikh Hasina herself, because the kind of accomplished politician that she is, she wouldn't. I do not believe that she would lie on something like this. She fully knew it fully well what she was saying. And if she spoke of a white man offering her peace, then I guess we know whom she was talking about. So yes, right now, and then we have Mr. Muhammad Yunus being made the chief of the
Don't you
interim
think
government.
there's a strange induction? Muhammad Yunus is not a person who was a politician. Even
He
today,
was
I
not.
won't.
Absolutely, he was not. But
He is an academician
uh,
or a social worker.
yeah,
So
but
why Muhammad
he
Yunus is picked up?
that is something very, very interesting, because he is known to be very, very close to the American disposition to begin with. Number one. Number two, sometimes around 2013 in Calcutta, Dr. Yunus voices his desire to join politics, and dutifully American High Commission reports it back to their headquarters. So these are very, very interesting indicators. And then he's charged with he's charged by Hasina government, and then he leaves for United States, and he's there, and he comes back. And most interestingly, what struck me the most is that in one of his interviews with one of the TV channels, Indian TV channels, of course, he sort of made a very interesting statement that if somebody tries to destabilize Bangladesh at this point, it will impact the Northeast and West Bengal. And the tone and tenure of his utterings was not that of a academician who has suddenly been thrown into something as massive and overwhelming as running of a country. Now, the way he delivered those sentences were very, very telling. And that would come only when there is sufficient amount of support behind him. And given the state of affairs in Bangladesh that we see today, it's kind of intriguing that where does he draw his strength from? We are also told that one of the very, very high-ranking official from the State Department of the US had visited both India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh just ahead of these developments. Now, I'm yet to corroborate that, but if that is true, then we have a sequence
Then
of
it makes altogether different.
G. So and that's why I said that things are still unfolding, and we are still not very clear about exactly what has happened. But we do see certain indicators pointing towards a direction. जी जानन भाई
मेरे स्टिल समझ में नहीं आता कि ये एडमिनिस्ट्रेटर नहीं है मोहम्मद यूनुस, या तो अमेरिका हैज सम आइडिया ऑफ रूलिंग थ्रू प्रॉक्सी, इसको बिठा दीजिए वहां and then do whatever you want to do utilizing him. But then it will surface very soon. You can't do it clandestinely. So what is the real reason for bringing in Mohammad Yunus? I am yet to see. I have met him couple of times, and I don't see that kind of a burning or a seething volcano kind of a desire for getting into politics. In fact, if I am to classify a person, can be classified as somebody who is a little shy and mild.
Well, what we can see is that it's an attempt to install a pliable government. Now, all of us, we understand one thing, that this region is heating up very slowly, and everybody needs a toehold here. We are seeing that Myanmar is in turmoil. We are seeing somewhat instability creeping up in Thailand. Northeast is never stable. Bangladesh that appeared somewhat stable until, say, a year ago is no more stable. And all because of one thing: geopolitically, let's face it, Bay of Bengal is becoming very, very important. So everybody needs a toehold, or at least deny somebody a toehold. So that's one thing that's for sure. So a pliable government in Bangladesh would be helpful. But for us, what we really need to look at, I believe, is what would be the impact of it. So one, after this set of after Hasina left Bangladesh, all that is unfolding is somewhat scary, because
again,
there is
again a speculative question: what will happen to Hasina?
I will not get into that right now, because whatever happens to her, it's a very, very individual question. But I think we need to be more concerned about what is going to happen to us.
No, will she be repatriated back to Bangladesh?
I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. I don't think so. No government in the world will ever do that.
Then you expect India to give her a shelter?
I don't. I think she would find her place somewhere somewhere sooner than later. But that is besides the point. But what is, as I'm saying, that what concerns me more is what is going to happen to India, because already we are seeing what is happening. One, keeping Bangladesh as a focal point, there's a significant amount of energy that is being spent on fanning the communal fire here. So that is something that I'm really scared of today. That's one thing. Second is that what has happened in Bangladesh is that after all the turmoil, the communal forces like Jamaat and their amirs have come out of the woodwork. They are claiming credit for the uprising, and the worst thing that could have happened is the breaking down of Sheikh Mujib's statues.
But they don't seem to have a ground support.
They don't. As of now, they don't.
So without ground support, without the support of army, without the support of
as of now, what we are seeing is that they do not enjoy the student support and the educated middle classes support. But then we have seen similar things in other countries also.
No,
initially they may not get the support.
I would, for that matter, beg to differ with you, for the simple reason that Bangladesh is sort of a more comparable dichotomy like India. They have huge kind of income differential. It might have more per capita GDP than India, but then if you look at the old Dhaka settlements, they are as bad or as good as Dharavi in Mumbai.
I totally agree to that. And that is where the danger lies, because I mean, we may not see the expressive, communicative Bangladeshis lining up with them, but we should not be forgetting that this country also produced people like Matiur Rahman or Ghulam Azam or Nizami or Bangla Bhais. And it was in this very country that we had slogans like Amra Shobai Taliban, Bangla Hobe Afghan. I mean, to translate this, we all are Talibans, and Bengal will eventually become Afghanistan. Now, will Bengal become Afghanistan? No, it will never be. It will never be. But it can turn into a sanctuary for anti-India forces that it was during Khaleda Zia's regime under BNP. It can harbor the jihadist forces. And most importantly, every act of violence against the minorities in Bangladesh will be marketed in India by the majority to fan communal violence, and that is something that
I don't think that will happen.
Well,
because why I beg to differ with you? Because people have tested that the part of it. And second is the way the center is going, and the right winger party in India, the way it is suffering, they also don't have much to look forward to.
That is precisely why I think they'll spend every penny under their command to do this.
No, 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 no. If that was to happen, it would have happened long back. In fact, they will be fighting for keeping every penny safe and saved.
Amen to that. Amen to that.
And second thing is that, like Bangla middle class, now in India also, the middle class and business, I mean, business means not Adani Ambani, but the business class people in the middle range, they have not started harboring this kind of feeling.
Well, I would want to believe that, but let's reserve our differences. Let's reserve our differences.
So you still feel that Bangladesh will be a kind of a problem for India in the times to come.
Bangladesh is right now, I feel, I mean, as I see it, in a state of turmoil, and the turmoil would likely to continue for next few years. And until it settles down, it's not a good news for India. Because Tariq Rahman has come back. He was the one who had pushed the India Out campaign. Salahuddin Ahmed is going back from Shillong to Bangladesh. BNP would gain ground. Now we need to see what happens, because there just might be a new party may emerge. So
yeah, that possibility cannot be ruled out.
A new political outfit is, I'm expecting a new political outfit to emerge. But with Awami League completely out of the election fray, I don't think that would be very democratic. So we need to see what kind of an election happens. But that is not likely to happen before next 2 years. At least that's how the Bangladeshi sources told Bloomberg. Bloomberg did a story on that. So, well, there is no succor for us.
Let's look at the other possibility. Considering, and there is a reason for considering it seriously, that US wants to have a base in Bangladesh, because that is the entire China Sea area can be then looked after from there, and they'll have strategic position, so that might suit them. Now, if that happens to be the case, US would want Bangladesh to be peaceful as far as possible, as fast as possible.
US's involvement has never for anybody been beneficial or peaceful. We have seen it in Pakistan, we have seen it in several other countries.
Not for anybody, for themselves.
For themselves, yeah, but wherever
they
have
a base,
wherever they have set foot, this is like the proverbial Bhasmasur or some other characters that we know of. Whomsoever they hug end up getting demolished. So I would not be getting.
I think I have still not made myself clear to you. What I am trying to tell you is that if US wants to have this base quickly and establish it, they need two things. Number one, a government which is friendly to them. And number two, finish the formalities as fast as you can. Now, how do you react to that?
That has got nothing to do with peace. That has got nothing to do with the host country's stability. That has got nothing to do with the host country's development, well-being, nothing. US has never cared a damn about any other country but itself. And wherever they have made relations, they have messed it up big time. They have they're like the I'm sorry if this is how it has come to. This is what I'll have to say. And they're like the locusts who just visit a field and finish it off. That's what they have done globally. And if they're setting their foot in Bangladesh, Bangladesh is in for major trouble in days to come. Bangladesh would be pushed into an abyss sooner than we see it.
What would happen to the Rohingya issues?
They will burn for some time. Some more people will die. Feed some more politicians and feed some more hate.
Can you elaborate?
That's not going to die down anytime soon. Because Rohingyas coming into Bangladesh or staying in Bangladesh is a huge pressure on the resources. So nobody is taking it kindly in Bangladesh. So either they come to India where it becomes a political issue, or they're pushed back to Myanmar, which is not going to happen. And in Myanmar, the way things are only going to escalate in days to come. So which means some more deaths, some more bloodbaths, some more migration.
So it's the devil in a deep sea kind of a situation.
It's absolutely between that kind of a situation. There is absolutely no doubt about that.
What happens to the heavy stake the Chinese movers have brought into Bangladesh, especially the textile industry?
As things will settle down, they'll start finding their feet again. I don't foresee any major change there. I mean, things will start moving, picking up their momentum. I don't foresee a major financial instability for that country right now, unless the Jamatis or the Hifazatis get into the government, which again is a probability because the caretaker government has included representatives from Jamaat, which is very, very unnerving.
But then in that case, you say for next 2-3 years, the Bangladesh turmoil will not settle down.
Well, yes, if not more. It's going to simmer.
How you would look at the interest in that case, Putin visited Bangladesh. How you would look at the interest of China versus Russia in Bangladesh?
I guess everybody right now is just watching, because as we said in the beginning, things are still unraveling. I mean, these are certain very basic things that this is what is expected. This is how things are likely to move given the players that are seen. But then there are other exigencies, then there are other forces, and things would move from one to another. So we will have to watch how things move from there.
So you don't see any hope whatsoever as far as Bangladesh-India relationships getting again normalized are concerned.
We have hit a rough patch, and this patch is going to continue for a while, and then eventually we shall see how things move on. But right now, yes, we are in a rough patch. We are in a rough patch because the forces that I saw I see in the hem of affairs there are not over excessively pro India, and there is
But
a sentiment.
then look at the scenario. Look at the situation which is there in Northeast. Then the developing things in West Bengal itself. Then the kind of developments which are apparently going to be there in Maharashtra, and then the whole belt right up to Haryana. So what kind of area of vectors you are saying to play in India?
We are, I mean, we are entering into a very, very tumultuous phase of history. And it's just not limited to Bangladesh. I mean, everywhere whichever part you pick up today, there is some kind of a movement happening. And it's not peaceful. So, yes, there will be issues, there will be some bumps, and eventually history will take its own course. Because essentially, even the economy, global economy is also at a very, very volatile phase right now. So once the economy stabilizes, I believe the rest of the things will simultaneously.
So India will go India way and Bangladesh will go Bangladesh way. That's what you're trying to.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that for a second, because as neighbors and as the way we are located geographically, our fates are intricately interlinked. So we will negotiate our common trajectory. There will be ups and downs. There will be skirmishes, and a common route would be worked out. That may be pleasant, unpleasant, acceptable, unacceptable, but there has to be a common route, and that'll get worked out. Now, how does it happen? Who pays what price? That needs to be seen. Because I believe a subcontinent has a common history. So even if we are partitioned geographically, the history continues to flow, and it will. And that history will be one. So I don't
So
think
it's
we have
very
the.
clear that Bangladesh will manage their affairs. So far, so they don't disturb you. You manage your affairs.
Ideally, that's what should have been ab initio, but it hasn't. No, it cannot. I mean, if a country, that country is its three sides covered by us, right? So its affairs are certainly going to affect us, or our affairs are going to affect them. That's why I said we have a common history, and we have a common trajectory, and we shall have one. Whether we like it, we don't like it. जी
At the end of this talk, I don't think we are reaching anywhere. I mean, I am sorry to say, but
Absolutely, because this is not a time when we can actually reach anywhere, because nobody has reached anywhere. If the revolutions, the Biplab, as they call it, has not reached anywhere. So the people are confused. The leaders are confused. Do we have any business to get anywhere? I don't think so. Let the protagonist get somewhere and we shall too.
but then again, that comes to my mind is Russia, Ukraine,
जी
Turkey,
जी
now Iran, Lebanon, Hezbollah, Israel, and a prediction that Israel is likely to be crushed. You means all this situation, Putin is good to, he was good to Trump, so he is not good to, going to be to this lady. But rest of them, there is already a problem on hand. This uh, mm, uh, Iran and Lebanon.
Okay.
So I don't think world can remain quiet for far too long.
See, the world order is changing. We do see it we are seeing it every moment. The world order is changing. The groupings are changing from the traditional ones. And as things form up, there will be developments, there will be repercussions, and we will be seeing this. And that is exactly why I'm saying, I said in the beginning that what has happened in Bangladesh hasn't happened in isolation. We are
Considering
not.
whatever are the developments in Bangladesh, how do you look at it with the civil war going on in Myanmar and China's interest in Myanmar,
both
and
the,
then
both
how
the
do you
countries.
look at it?
Well, one thing that I see is that both this development stall China's ambitions to find its footing on Bay of Bengal, at least through these two countries.
But then it cannot lead to anywhere. And such a flux in a situation of the geopolitical as well as geo-commercial interests cannot continue. Cannot continue. China also is badly in need of market. Bangladesh already
Cannot,
is with all
cannot
said and done.
continue. I agree to this, that it cannot continue, but its resolution will come at its own time. Because right now, all that we are seeing are the efforts to expand the hegemony. We haven't seen the outcome of it. What we are seeing is the efforts and the process, not its outcome. So I think we shall have to be patient to wait for the outcome and then come to a conclusion. And meanwhile, we need to, I believe, we need to ensure our safeguarding our interests. which
Tell
unfortunately
me
I don't
what
see.
will be the approach of India towards Bangladesh?
As
Will
of
they
now, I think
permit? Will they permit Sheikh Hasina to Sheikh Hasina lunatic? Sorry, political asylum.
see, that's a call for them to take, but I think the prudence would be to wait and watch. And right now, I think the government is very rightfully jittery about granting her a political asylum. This is not something that, I mean, there is no reason why India should spoil its.
Right, very rightly jittery? What is the reason why it is rightly jittery?
It's rightly jittery because there is no reason for government of India to spoil its relations with Bangladesh in whatsoever form by giving, formally providing asylum to Sheikh Hasina when she happens to be the most hated character in that country. But then it is our moral duty to ensure her security, which we are doing. And until and unless she finds a asylum somewhere, she is being provided with a safe accommodation. I think that's good enough for us. Sir.
Seems to be difficult. I mean,
Well, it is.
of course, one thing good is that Pakistan is not in a position to do much here. And I don't think US will permit them also to meddle.
No, Pakistan doesn't have any role here at all. I don't see any role of Pakistan anywhere in the whole thing, and there is absolutely no reason why we should even be talking about them right now.
How many days or weeks you think the sky will be little clear?
That is,
Or you expect any major happening within even before that period?
I mean, that would take a crystal ball for anyone to answer. So I would refrain from doing this.
Not just logic.
Logically, I do not.
Journalists are good at.
Logically, I don't foresee any major development right away. Things will continue to simmer. A lot of things, small developments, everyday small little developments will shape the things from here on. But nothing big. I do not expect anything big right away. But what we need to really do is to keep a very close eye on the electoral process, that how that shape up, how the institutions are made functional there. Because right now the Supreme Court Chief Justice of Bangladesh has resigned, the Vice Chancellor of Dhaka University has resigned, most of the people are resigning, so those institutions will have to be safeguarded, they'll have to be made up and running. So how those are done, how the economy is revived. So, and most importantly, there is a very, very strong effort going on to erase off the entire history of that country. Everything that is connected with Mukti Juddha, that is being erased off. So that needs to stop and restored. So let's see how things happen, go on from
No,
here.
I'm not very clear. I've been very, very frank. I've been debating within myself last 3-4 days. I mean, the kind of pulls and pushes from different directions still doesn't permit
That's
us
exactly
to
what I'm
make.
saying. It's too early to pinpoint or get into any kind of specificity to on developments.
Okay, final question. Do you think that Sheikh Hasina will be back to the power?
Well, her son said that she is not leaving politics and she would get into the fray once again. Let's see how things move from here. But Awami League, I am sure, will remain a force to reckon with, and it's not the end of Awami League just now. So even if not Sheikh Hasina, her son will definitely be there in Bangladesh politics for years to come. Yes.
But that the other lady's son is also entering politics.
Tariq Rahman has returned. Yes.
Eh?
Tariq Rahman has returned. Yes.
Ah.
So I'm sure
So
the
again, again pitted against each other and through these two families.
the rivalry will pass on to the next generation. I'm sure.
Yes.
I'm sure the rivalry will go on for through the next generation as well. Yes.
Later, I think let's wait. I would agree with you that another 15 days, maybe earliest, can give a little clearer view. Let us wait for it.
Right.
So till then, I think we will find out some other topic for you. Maybe on Dunkard. Okay, then we wind it up here. We'll meet again on this issue.
Absolutely, sir.
Which seems to be murkier, still getting murkier.
Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye. Shubhratri.
Shubhratri.